Everybody, I'm Elena Magio, host for Brutal Mystical podcast, and I have an incredible topic today about how you can step into your power with Natalia Price is a modern day priestess. She has been working on herself and empowering other women, and I had the awesome honor to mentor with her for 13 moons in her initiate circle. I also did a 12-week embodiment ritual circle, and it was through that I have been able to empower myself to step out of my shell and out of my imposter syndrome mind and all my fears about stepping forward with what is my calling as a medium and psychic with over 30 years of experience. It's been through this guidance and being with a container of women that are also walking the same path where we have come together to support each other in such a beautiful temple. And I'm extremely excited to have Natalia here. I've had plenty of interviews in the past, but I feel more and more called to share this message because I'm in such gratitude to her and the sisterhood that she has created and all of the other sisters to step forward. Especially, I'm embarking with my new project, which is Reawaken Your Essence menopause program for women after 40. And so let's celebrate each other. Let's be unique and let's walk our path. And I think sometimes we all want to share that message, but we're afraid. And that's exactly what we're going to discuss today. And Natalia, such a great facilitator. And that's exactly what she does. She's going to help you empower yourself. Use all of the archetypes and all of the knowledge to help you align with your purpose. And so with further ado, let's welcome Natalia Price. All right, we have the beloved Natalia Price is here with us, and I did the introduction. So I wanted to talk a little bit about you. Why don't you share with us a little bit about your background and what's inspired you?
Oh, thank you, beloved. My journey has been one that moves through so many different, it feels like lifetimes and different parts of who I am. And the one that I feel that is leading me at this time right now is stepping into empowerment and finally owning my wisdom, my feminine power, my life experiences, and getting that peace that playing small is not serving any of us. Staying in that place of self-doubt, of insecurity, of fear is enough. I've already spent so much time. I don't want to say wasted, but all of us, it's time to I'm here to wake other beings up, to empower women, to be part of this rising of the feminine. And I realize I've been gifted all that I am and all that I've been cultivating all these years in myself. And now it's time to really serve and put it out into the world and lift up and support as many other women on the planet, because this is how we are lifting the veils. This is how we are seeding a new earth. It's through rebalancing of the masculine and the feminine on the planet. And so right now, it's all of us together. It's lifting, it's supporting, it's mirroring, it's witnessing one another.
Yeah, I
This
like
is
that
how
word witnessing. And I like that you just mentioned that about the divine feminine and masculine, because I get a lot of questions. We got a question. I had made a post earlier and somebody was confused about, oh, but it's just the divine feminine if you're a woman. And I said, no, we all have that equal parts of divine feminine and masculine within. It just happens to be that over the last how many 13,000 years women have been repressed, so our voice is now reawakening, but it's not to deter from our working with our both the equal balance of the masculine and the feminine. And I know that we've learned that through the 13 Moon Mystery School, that it isn't just the female aspect. Can you talk a little bit into that?
Yeah. We all have an inner masculine and an inner feminine within us that is constantly looking to come into balance and into wholeness. And when we really do that work and really observe, witness, look at ourselves, go into the shadow, we bring the pieces up so that these two parts of ourselves can come into that sacred marriage. They call it the Hieros Gamos in spiritual alchemy. And so every man has that sacred feminine and sacred masculine within himself as well. But because we have lived in this world where the masculine has been and forefront and center, but in a way that's so deep that we don't even realize. We just think it's normal, that everything we do, all the things that we drive, the buildings that we live in, everything has come from a masculine mind right now. And so when we talk about the rising of the feminine, it's not to exalt and only have the feminine rule the world in some way. It's just to bring it back into balance, to be in that deeper well of wisdom, of connection, of compassion with ourselves first, and then out into the world. That ripples out in the way our economy is, the way we work with Mother Nature, the way we educate, the way our medicine is. All of it needs to come into a new restructuring where we're really taking in divine feminine values.
Oh, I love
Not
that.
necessarily talking about man and woman as genders. We're talking about these qualities that live within all of us.
That the value, especially right now, as we all know, the world is going through so much upheaval. And everybody's just looking for those tools and those methods. And that's why I just felt really called today. And that's why I had reached out, that more and more people need to understand about the archetypes and how we can really connect, and what the practice and what that practice involves, and really embodying it and walking into it. Because a lot of people are practicing, but it's so mental. And I feel the practice with you, it's really about pushing into the heart and also working with the shadow. So it's not just all mental, because so many people right now, they'll read a book and then they'll jump from one modality to another and to another. But it's also important, when you find your modality, you can stick to it and start practicing it, to embody. So let's talk about that, embodying. So you've embodied a modern day priestess archetype energy, which you have been called to. I remember in the past, you've told me that you've always had a fascination with Egypt, even when you were young and you didn't understand it. And then all of a sudden you met Ariel from the 13 Moon Mystery Schools. So what was that kind of aha moment, which I think is so important, because I had mine, but I want to hear yours, what that feels like, so other women can identify with that.
For a long time, I was searching for the divine. And I went to India for a year, searching for a teacher, wanting to find my own spiritual connection to the divine. And I met many teachers that were all men, and I thought that was totally natural, right? Because that's all I was seeing in the outpicturing. But it was when I came home that I actually met my mentor and teacher, Ariel Spielsbury, the founder of the 13 Moon Mystery School. And when I witnessed her, and really it was frequency and vibration, that it touched something deep and ancient within me, of knowing that I had lived multiple lives honoring the sacred feminine, and that she lived in me, and that I was ready to really commit and devote myself to that path. And then, of course, when I said yes, I wanting to devote and cultivate this sacred feminine in myself so that then I can bring it out into the world. Life challenged me in so many ways, right? And all the deeper shadow, all the insecurities, all the places where, who am I to think that I can do this thing? All of that came up for me to look at. And that's why it was so potent to have a mentor, to have a sisterhood, a container to really hold me, and for me to be able to voice what was coming through, and to be able to do that deeper shadow work of naming the pieces and then seeing what is the medicine that's there. What are the nuggets of wisdom that have been whispering through, that so often we find in our biggest shadows or patterns, or the pieces that we've been judging about ourselves, actually is where our greatest gifts and strengths are, once we can really alchemize it and do that deeper work and find what's there for us to give and offer.
That's beautiful. And I love how you said the ancient wisdom is really calling us. I feel that more and more. It's always been there, but I think there's something about the collective right now where people are just really thirsty for that ancient wisdom to come and to be called forth, so we can start these practices. I want to dive into a little bit about that ancient wisdom from the 13 Moon Mystery School that really talks about emptying yourself and the mudra and looking into the mirror and really looking, like you just said, into the crevices of your soul, of your fears, because those are your teachers. So with some of those practices, you want to talk to us a little bit about some of the fundamental practices that you have found that have been very powerful tools in assisting you to break through some fears?
For me, the sacred feminine is not just an idea or something that's out there. She's really about this embodied presence that we can cultivate through devotion, through ritual, through conscious connection with ourselves and with the earth. And it's about remembering this deeper place of that creative life force that we came here to offer and to share with others. That part of ourselves that honors cycles, that listens to our intuition, and really leads from a place of love and of what is the greater mission that I'm here to do rather than the fear. And we can connect to the sacred feminine in so many different ways. It can be through ceremony and ritual, but it's also just by spending time in listening, in stillness, in presence, or in nature, or with water. It's slowing ourselves down enough to hear the wisdom beneath the noise. And by engaging in practices that really open your heart and that quiet the mind, the thinking mind, the monkey mind. And it could be dancing, journaling, anointing yourself with oils, or even simply placing your hand over your heart or your womb and breathing with intention. But in the 13 Moon Mystery School, one of the foundational practices that we have is what we call empty presence, where we come down and in and we empty ourselves out. And you could call it another form of meditation or a stillness practice. But like all things, it takes a moment. It's like a muscle. You need to develop it, you need to train it. You can't just instantly go into meditation or samadhi or this empty presence. We start slowly. And we like to work with mudras. They're somatic symbols of the hand or of the body to bring it into here so that we don't have the divine as it's somewhere out there or on an altar or somewhere just in here. It's both. It's having one foot in the mystic, in the ancient, in the remembering, and then the other that's fully here now. And we even like to do it as an open-eyed meditation, so that you can be aware and fully present, that we don't need to travel other places, that we are here now. And so the mudra of presence is we bring our hand to our heart with the palm facing up. And then we bring the right hand straight up overhead. And as we draw down this top hand down through our center, we call ourselves in. We call in all aspects of ourselves. It could be your I am presence, your higher self, and call yourself in as you bring that down through the center perpendicular. Feel it going through the crown, activating the third eye and all those light sensitive psychic parts of your brain, down through the throat and into the heart. Let's do that one more time. Bringing that right hand up overhead and call yourself fully here now. Using the breath down through the center into the heart. And then we bow to ourselves here, honoring ourselves, honoring our life, our challenges, our gifts, honoring all that is alive and awake here for us, right? All that we've been brought to cultivate and develop ourselves.
That is so insightful. And in meditation the other day, I was doing my routine and I got this message about calling your perfected self in to assist you as well. So like that, according to the Kabbalah, they say you can connect it to your perfected version of yourself that you know is there. Call her in as well, which is that divine, because we're all, it's like the petals, we're all mirroring each other. I want to share that because that was very powerful. Calling yourself in, that perfected version of yourself. I thought that was beautiful. And then the
And
other
yet, not to get caught in that dualistic part of imperfectionism, that I'm perfect or I'm not perfect or I'm not there yet. And it's accepting all parts of who we are. Because how many of us have all been shut down or stopped by our inner perfectionist? That's I'm not ready to put myself out there until I have it perfect or all together. And nobody starts as I got this. It's a journey for all of us. So I think being really clear with ourselves is staying out of judgment around that word perfect.
That's true
Right?
too. Yeah, because it is. And we have that monkey mind that's always telling us, no, you can't do it. And I'm sure that throughout your years of working with so many women, what is, I think it's that imposter syndrome is the one key element where I think people get stuck. Where's that one part of it, which I think it just stops people, in your opinion? Like it just stops you from moving forward, or it's the fear factor, or is it the imposter syndrome, or is it I'm not good enough? Shrinking, you said at the very beginning that you no more shrinking, no more being small. And it's so easy to say and so hard to practice, and to have that final breakthrough where you could say, ja, no more, basta. I don't want this anymore in my life. I'm just going to do it, even though I'm afraid.
Yes, that's it. Doing it even though we're afraid. And in the 13 Moon Mystery School, we work with 13 archetypes of the sacred feminine. And so there are different perspective, different lenses to be able to look at ourselves and to step into embodiment with. And each of the archetypes have light qualities that we want to be. And then they have shadow aspects that we often hold in the unconscious, that are the ones that we're still moving through, that often are connected to traumas of our childhood or how we were developed when we were small. And the first archetype we come to is the Great Mother, and allowing ourselves to just surrender in these arms of unconditional love, and letting ourselves just be fully seen in both the shadow and the light. And what if her shadow aspects of this Great Mother archetype, right? This divine blueprint that's a larger than life energetic form, is really this aspect of unworthiness, and also not good enough and unlovable.
Well,
And they're
those are
often the main foundational pieces that we are working through, right? In some ways that it was put onto us that we needed to earn our worth, or we needed to prove ourselves in the world to then receive love. We needed to be the good girl. We needed to do everything right for others to be worthy.
That's exactly right. And also what you had said too, that I think is an important element here, is that when you're doing the 13 moon initiate circle with you, there's so many other women that are sharing what their fears and their shadows is. And it's just so refreshing that sometimes you're thinking somebody, and someone will have the initiation of saying, hey, I'm feeling insecure, I'm feeling unworthy, and you're feeling the same thing. And you're in a community where it's a sacred temple of energy, where we're all going through that together, and there's no judgment and there's no competition. It just is, we're being seen and we're sharing our vulnerability. And I think that's key, because if you can't be vulnerable, then how are you going to work through your shadow if you have those facades? I wanted to talk into that.
Yeah, because I feel like transformation is amplified when we are held in a sacred container, where there is a dedicated space where we are witnessed and supported and called into our future selves, into our wholeness. And especially in this world that moves so fast, and there's so much competition and comparison that comes up for us, that gets triggered, right? With the social media, with everything we see in the world, that to have these safe containers that hold us, and there's this ability to slow down with this depth that unravels the old patterns, that allows us to be in our vulnerability and see there's so much power right there. This is that womb space for rebirth. And often we'll go deep into a person who something comes up for them, and allow them to go through that shadow work. And then everyone in the circle benefits, because it's like what's healing through one person is often mirrored in others.
I believe we're all one. So and also just being connected. And then you have the allies. which is wonderful as well, where you can have an ally sister. So you pair with a sister, and then you can talk through your fears and your anxiety, and especially if we have to talk in public, or how we can better assist each other and be authentic and real. Because I think it's hard to find a real network of women that are really genuinely in a supportive energy. And I'll share a story that recently, like 2 years ago, we had done an interview, and I was so empowered with your perspective on women in unity and empowering each other. And I don't know if it's, we're all playing roles for each other, but sometimes it can get a little catty, or there can be miscommunication between women, and women tend to be more emotional on some level. And I don't mean that in a negative way. There can be friction and a lot of challenges. And I had just recently been confronted with a challenging situation with some women that were talking behind my back. And it was just, I felt really uncomfortable. And I really stood into my power after being with your network and your group of women, and the women that I have continued to have friendships with after the Initiate Circle. And I just remembered the high quality of authentic, sovereign women taking their power and just not engaging in those lower levels. And so I wanted to talk to you about that, because I don't know if you know how beautiful the women that you're with, and even witnessing the 8/8 portal. I was able to attend that online, which is something that you also do. And we'll talk about the full moon initiations that you do, but it was so empowering for me. And I just want to share that, because I know I'm not alone with this. I know I'm not alone. And I know there's many women listening into this situation or unfortunate circumstances that does happen. But I wanted to witnessing you and your beauty with the community of women that you have. And that's where I want to be. And that's the energy that I want to envelop myself in, versus the lower energy of women that are still in a insecure. Nothing, there's no judgment towards them. I wanted to speak into that with you. And if you had any insights about that and how you've managed that in the past, because comparison is a big deal in this work.
Yes. The sister wound, sometimes we'll call it the priestess wound or the witch wound, is a really deep one that I feel lives in our bones, that we are still alchemizing at this time. And in the ways that women were pitted against each other or taught to betray one another to survive in the witch burning times that went on for over 300 years that we know of, that could have been even longer, where women were killed for their wisdom, for knowing about the herbs and the plants. And so sisterhood was really torn apart. And that's how the patriarchy was really able to come and take over. And I feel that still lives in many of us, this fear of betrayal in the sisterhood. So often we've seen, coming from before our times, our mothers, our aunties, gossiping and doing things behind each other's backs. And it's been normalized. This is a normal part of being a woman. And we are here now in this new generation to step into alchemizing that and being no more. I'm not holding that frequency, and I'm not letting it in. It's not where I'm at anymore. But it's a lot of self-inner work and doing that self-love practices and self-compassion, and seeing there's that voice of the inner critic that is hurting me. And so then it wants to project it onto another woman. And so even seeing our projections or what we throw out onto other women, that where she's so vain, or look at her, just catch yourself and be like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I need to see where I need to bring this love back into me. Why am I so triggered by this being? And really see it at the sacred opportunity to love ourselves up, to see, I really need to do some inner work on me and figure out what is it that how can I love myself up more?
I will say that with me, and from experience for the last 2 years since I've been working on myself, that I had two choices. I either go into the rabbit hole of I didn't feel good in my body, or say, hey, I'm great for that role that I'm playing, but I also choose to look at it from a more alchemized way. And I'm not going to judge these women, and I'm not going to have any negative attitude, but I am going to set boundaries and step in my own truth and say, hey, you don't get to treat me poorly. I'm also not going to add energy into it, which is so easy to do. We are human after all, and it's easy. We're so emotional right now, heightened. I think everybody on the planet, it doesn't everybody energy is heightened. So any little trigger can set you off, but it's learning how to manage it, which is beautiful. So I just wanted to share that because I know a couple of people have written into me that there seems to be either people breaking up or friendships falling off or people checking out. There's been a lot of momentum with people taking their lives and how we're managing our life and how we're reacting to situations.
There's so much polarization and separation happening out there into the world, and the ways that we internalize it within the sisterhood is part of the healing that we're here to do. It's like if we want to see peace out there and we want to see the men in power make good decisions and open their hearts, we need to do it within the sisterhood first. We need to do that internal work so that then we can project it out, or even, like you say, have those boundaries and hold ourselves up in a good way.
Yeah,
We work with what we call a pattern interrupter and the archetype of the creator, destroyer, preserver. And that's like the Kali Ma who's here to use her sacred rage. It says, enough, no more, I am done. And really just is fierce in the way she stands up. And so we want to recognize, I'm triggered right now. Look at me. I want to talk bad about this person. And first, just allow yourself to feel it, but then use some kind of a somatic movement in the body, a pattern interrupter to catch yourself. Maybe it's clapping, maybe it's putting your hands on your heart, maybe it's taking a deep breath, something that stops the pattern of you going back into, there she is again, and say, no, I'm going to make another choice here right now. I'm going to connect with myself and make a choice that serves me, that lifts my vibration. That is truly what the alchemy is, right? Spiritual alchemy is lifting our vibration through our thoughts, our words, our actions.
That's so powerful.
Yeah, so talking into lifting their vibration, let's talk about when the Initiate Circle is going to start. It's September 27th. And I'm so excited that there's a new wave of women that are going to be able to mentor with you and really step into their power and share their gifts with the world. So what is the mentoring? How does that sacred sisterhood look like? And how can you share that with us?
So it's a year-long journey where we really dive into these 13 sacred archetypes. We work with Jungian psychology, and we dive deep into the shadow work of what's stopping us, what's holding us back, what is my Achilles heel, my deep wounding that's not allowing me to have clarity about my vision, my path, my purpose, and what you want to offer into the world. We work with sacred tools to really bring it down and in, and then with embodiment practices, real world practices that make it relevant, right? That you can put it into your relationships, into your life, into your work in the world, but really doing it with this aspect of a sisterhood where we walk together and we are embodying the sacred feminine from this deep place of humility and authenticity, right? It's bringing all parts of ourselves forward. If you're feeling the call, this deep, right? It's for so many of us women, it's this deep ancient call of there's something more here that I want to develop as yourself, even as a medicine woman, as a sacred leader, as a visionary, as a priestess, or even as a coach or ceremonialist.
Because that's what I was going to ask you. You work with all types of women. It's not modern. To clarify for the listeners, it's not, yes, you can walk into the modern priestess, but you can also, like me, I'm a medium and psychic and I have my podcast and I'm developing my menopause course. It's similar, but I love the vibration of the priestesshood and calling in the archetype. So it can be anybody that's venturing into reawakening who they want, or they want to share a message with the world.
Yes.
Basically.
And it's allowing yourself to be seen and witnessed. It's a lot about empowering us to clear any blockages here in one, even finding our voice, hearing our own wisdom and direct gnosis, and then being able to share it with the world so that we really stand in our feminine power, so that we have impact, so we make real change on the planet. So it's not just something that's up here that we're all just doing in front of our altar. It's no, bringing it all here in full embodiment, and then putting it into whatever pathway is unique to each one of us, how we show up. There's not like one face of the priestess or the spiritual woman. Everybody is spiritual. We all have this within ourselves.
I love that.
But it's about committing and devoting yourself to cultivating, to clearing the blocks. And that's what's so powerful about being held in a longer container of a year, right? It's not just something and then you're out. It's, oh, I'm sticking through the challenge, the hard time, all the things that come up to really refine, to polish that jewel from within.
That's wonderful. And what would you say for somebody that's awakening right now, but doesn't know where to start? And what would you say to her or him? Because have you worked with men too? I had a man, I mean, I guess we're all divine, feminine, and masculine. So have you had males be part of the
Men
temple?
privately. I work with men in one-on-one containers of mentorship where we really dive in what's real and how to come into that greater balance. But the Priestess Initiate Circle, the one that I'm running right now, is for women only
Only
at
one.
this moment. I want to open it up to men eventually. And there's other beings, and there's a man in our 13 Moon Mystery School community, Argon, that he is eventually creating a circle for men to really be held in that sacred masculine ray.
Wonderful. Okay. So that's good clarification because I did have somebody write and I said, from my understanding, I think it's all women, but we will ask her directly. So if somebody's afraid and wants to embark on this, but they're still a little hesitant, is there anything you could share to the listeners today that maybe will help them realize that we're all in this together and there is just support and love working with you and all the other women that are participating? So I guess
This thing I would say to any being right now, because it's so crazy out there and there's so much fear stuff that we could go into, is just coming in, using that mudra of presence.
love that. Feels so good.
Come into yourself, bowing, honoring yourself, and finding, placing a hand on your heart or your womb or your center, breathing, slowing it all down, connecting to the sacredness that you will know that you are, outside of all the ego, personality, and all the things and the challenges, connecting to that place. And as often as possible, even make a daily practice, just coming in. Maybe it's when you're getting ready for bed or when you start your day. We have in the 13 Moon Mystery School a practice that we call Feed the Feminine First. So it's not getting tricked by the mind of going straight to your phone or your to-do list or jumping right into the workout or the shower, but taking a moment to come in, to breathe with yourself. Maybe it's lighting a candle. Maybe it's a gratitude practice. Maybe it's a prayer to the divine. It could be 5 minutes, 15, 20 minutes of taking time here, honoring yourself. You can even do it while you're still in bed or come outside and look at the trees, however you're called, but dedicate that time to you and really see what grows from that place, what builds, how your insights, your intuition, your inspiration starts to come in and guide you to your own spirit path. It's like find a sisterhood, even if it's not the Priestess Initiate Circle, find other like-minded beings who are willing to be vulnerable, to bring forward what's real for them. It's so good to have a mentor that can really hold that mirror lovingly to you and accept all parts of yourself so that then you can really come into that greater acceptance and self-love.
And that I always say, you need to quiet the mind to listen to the whispers of the universe. Otherwise, we're too busy in our crazy monkey mind.
In any way of slowing down all the craziness. And it's not saying we have to do it all the time. And even the first times you try to slow it down, you're like, wow, there's so much going on. But the more you do it, the more you commit. You could even just count breaths, do 5 breaths at your heart. Then the next time, 10 breaths. Then the next time to just empty out, to just release and allow yourself to be that clear vessel, this clear channel for the divine to come through, for your own wisdom to come through, your own remembrance of the wisdom you have, or the wisdom of your ancestors, of your guides, your allies, those that work with you in the unseen realms. Those are the things that we're cultivating in the Priestess Initiate Circle, to be able to ground in that and feel a confidence and a clarity about what is your own path and wisdom and your gifts to offer with the world.
I love that. Oh, aho, was that you just said that so beautifully. That was really inspiring. I want to do it again.
I invite all the alumni to come back and do it again, because really your spiritual path meets you where you're at again and again. You go deeper, you dive under other things. And for me, I've been on this path for 24 years. And some people are, wow, don't you get tired of the same archetypes? And I realized, no, every time I come to them, I'm in a different place in my life. I'm in different challenges. And wow, this archetype is now informing me and guiding me in a whole different way that allows me to feel supported in how I move in the world.
Yeah, and also
So
the way
I might come back and be that issue that I had for so long about feeling insecure about this thing. It's not even, I realize it's not there anymore.
that's wonderful. Those are the best moments where you move on and step into yourself. It's been, for me, it's been really a reawakening of shedding a lot of layers of a persona that I had created over the last 30 years. And then finally realizing that I didn't want that. I didn't want to be that person anymore. I didn't like that person anymore. I did, and I love her, but now I'm ready to really step into my own new person that was there hidden. It wasn't until I actually connected with you, until I finally was able to say, hey, you know what? I can do this. It took me time. This did not happen overnight. This whole process has taken about 2 years now, about a year and a half to two. And I'm still, like you said, I'm still doing it every day. And sometimes I fail miserably. I'm like, boy, I did not do anything that I said I was going to do. But I beat myself up. But you said self-care is key, and being compassionate with yourself, and just knowing that you always have tomorrow, and tomorrow is a new day. But I did see this one scene in this series about just taking the reins of your life and jumping in, because if not, life will pass you by, as you well know. So you've got to just jump in. And if you're afraid, just do it. Just do the work, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 20 minutes. What would be one of the challenges that maybe you're experiencing right now that you want to share how you're managing? I know there's just a lot of craziness, but somebody wrote to me and they just wanted to know what was going on in your life that you can share. You don't have to get personal, but if there's some theme that you're witnessing besides everything's a little bit chaotic, and how you're working through it.
I'm just finding from the outside world, the political situation, and how everyone's getting all caught up in it and really taking sides, and then wanting to discuss it, and not even discuss it. It's almost like they want to be validated in their point of view. And then they have a whole bunch of stuff they want to almost dump on me continuously, especially because I'm mentoring people, and how to really have boundaries around that and be like, I'm not available for this. This is not my belief system. And I'm not choosing to engage at that level for myself.
Ooh, powerful. Yeah.
And really, for all people, I just say, take a deep breath right now. Feel into your heart, and feel the presence of the divine that is not those things. And especially when it feels like it's so out of our power. Like, it'd be one thing if we could do something about it, but just to endlessly talk about it, it really just lowers our vibration. I'm not saying don't feel what's real, but then also check in with yourself. Is that real? Or is it just something I'm hearing out there on some news channel that at this point we don't even know what's really real about what they're telling us is going on?
Yeah, I think at this point, that's funny you mentioned that. I had somebody ranting on today, and I was, oh my God, I don't want to hear any of this. It brought me down. So we were talking about other inspiring things, and all of a sudden, as soon as the political came in, I just felt like a wilted flower.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful.
So how do we really hold ourselves and keep being in this loving, open space to allow people to be who they are, and we're not judging them, and yet still hold it and offer our words of wisdom that this is where I'm at, and you also want to be respected in that.
That resonates deeply.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, because I know there's a lot of people out there that we're all feeling the chaos, but I do feel that astrologically things are going to ease up a little bit. I think after starting in September, and I feel like we're all going to get a little bit of, and today's a really auspicious day. So we want to set in all those positive energies. And we had, I saw a shooting star the other day, which I thought was magical, like right there, 20 or 30 feet. That's what it was, but it was pretty powerful. So there is a lot of auspicious and wonderful energy. And I wanted to share how impactful mentoring with you has been. And if there's anything else that you want to add in about your program that's starting in September, and is there a deadline by when people need to reach out to you? I'll put all the links down below.
Thank you. Thank you. The greatest thing I want to say is for each one of us to slow down and come inside. Breathe here in the heart and feel that presence of the sacred feminine that lives within you, that is touched by any of this conversation that we've had. Any parts of that inner priestess or wisdom keeper that's there. She's here and she is awake and alive, right? And she wants you to bring out and cultivate her more. And so imagine what might be possible if you continue to nurture this presence within yourself, that you gave yourself the time, the space, the presence to be there, to allow it to lift you up. If you had the tools and the support and the community to really deepen into that remembrance, and then to share it with others confidently. Because here's the truth, and I feel we all know in our bones right now that we are not meant to walk this path alone. We're not meant to be caught up in all this mundane or all these things of other men in power that are making decisions for us. We are meant to gather, to remember, to lead together, to share our love and our joy together, to cultivate our arts and our gifts here. And that's the greatest thing that calls me to want to gather the women in the Priestess Initiate Circle for that transformational journey that's really held in the sacred mirrors, that sacred container for all of us. So if you're feeling the call, please reach out and connect with me. I offer everybody a free call, an embodied clarity call, to help you to really reflect back to you, to see where you're at, what's holding you back, and what is the work, the inner transformation for you to get more clear and aligned in your heart. And to see if this priestess path feels in coherence for you to step into at this time, and how it can serve your life or the work that you do in the work already.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. I think that's wonderful, bringing in the ancient wisdom that is arising, and through this particular community, how you can really align and bring yourself into presence is so beautiful, sister. You're doing such an incredible, your mission is so beautiful. So I take my hat off to all the work, and 24 years is 24 years of working on yourself and growing and exploring and helping. And then it must be so rewarding for you to see your students. Is that what you call students?
Initiates. We call them initiates.
Your initiates, seeing them evolve and grow. It's so beautiful. I love it. And I'm just so happy to be part of the community.
It makes me feel so on purpose. And it really wasn't until I was 13 years in the 13 Moon Mystery School that I finally stepped into focalizing and leading this work. Because before I was, no, this is just my spiritual path. And when I received the insight in meditation to step into offering and facilitating this work, it was, no, who am I to do this? And like I said, all my fears came up. But what I really saw is that once I aligned in my mission and purpose, it changed everything for me. I felt for so long I was praying, what's my purpose? How do I bring my priestessing into the world? What's my path? And I feel so privileged, so blessed to have found this lineage, this Avalonian lineage of the 13 Moon Mystery School, and our mentor, Ariel Spielsbury, and all the work that she's put out, the 13 Moon Oracle cards, that everyone can receive those, the 13 Moon Oracle deck. They're all this whole system of transformation for people to walk through.
No, and I love it. It's been very powerful. I'm testimonial of the work in the sense that I've mentored and it's been profound. And that's why I always feel called to share it now, because I feel that more and more people are realizing that we're all waking up and that your voice does matter and you have a unique fingerprint and nobody is like you. And I learned that working with you when I had all my fears. Remember, I don't know if you remember, but I would be, does anybody care? Am I saying anything that's making a difference? And I don't remember exactly how you said it, but the way that it was a aha moment. You are so unique. Nobody shares what you have. Maybe it's similar to somebody else, but nobody's ever going to express that. So it's that slight nuance that made me want to blossom and say, hey, I can do this too.
Yes. Yes. And to do it in a way that feels in integrity, right from the heart, that this is what's leading us. And especially finding that place of service, that then this lifts the whole planet up, right? All women, let's do this. Let's rock this together.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, sister. This has been so insightful, and I'm so happy you were able to make this happen, especially right before this new the Priestess Initiate Circle that you're launching. And if anybody has any questions, I'm going to write all the information down so they can find you and have that one-on-one.
Yes. And you can also find me at my website. That's nataliaprice.com.
Yeah, and I'll have all your socials on there too. Talk to us about the full moon. Are you picking that up?
Yes, we actually have a new moon that's coming up in a week. So on the 22nd of August. And I'm doing a new moon circle that's open to the public that everyone can come. It's a virtual online circle. And we're working with the archetype of the Great Mother, because that's her time in the wheel, the new moon of going into that dark womb of creation. And so we're working with womb wisdom, really awakening and connecting with that and using it in a way to harness its power in this new cycle of the moon. Especially we're working with this Virgo moon power to get really clear, to awaken that inner priestess. So everyone is invited to come to this. It's free, open to the public. That's on the 22nd of August.
I'll write that too on the links. I'll write all that. And then for the podcast listeners, the video is going to be on YouTube as well. So you'll be able to watch the video format or the audio format. And there's more to come. I'm sure Natalia, we will have her on again and discussing some other great, inspiring wisdom that she has to offer.
Oh, thank you so much, beautiful. It's such a joy to be able to share with your listeners and all us to just align in this way of collaboration. This is the feminine way.
I love that. And we should logo that. This is the feminine way. All right. In Lakesh Alakeen.